Just to clarify on the questions that Sir John Whittingdale asked, can you then confirm, does this mean that treaties that Mauritius has signed, like the African Nuclear Weapon-Free Zone Treaty, will apply to the Diego Garcia base?
We're not a party to the Partnership.
I understand we're not a party. I'm asking whether, because Mauritius has sovereignty over all of the islands, whether that means that those laws take precedence in Diego Garcia.
We're absolutely clear that the base will continue to operate as it always has done, and we will be compliant with our international legal obligations.
I understand you're saying it will operate as it always has done, but just to come back, I'm saying in the future, so not necessarily as it always has done, does it mean we now have to comply with these Mauritian treaties that Mauritius has signed up to, the laws they have signed up to?
We're all signed up to lots of different treaties.
No, I understand that, but I'm specifically asking about what Mauritius has signed up to.
We're confident that nothing in this treaty conflicts with our abilities to uphold international law and indeed to continue to operate the base as it does today.
Outside of the 12 nautical mile limit around Diego Garcia, is Mauritius permitted to have themselves security or military forces beyond that 12 nautical mile limit? And do they need to notify us as we need to notify them? And could potentially they have military advisors or observers from countries other than Mauritius?
So my understanding is that Mauritius can, but we are very, very clear that in terms of presence of foreign forces, that would have to require joint agreement.
I just wanted to ask a couple of questions around the Chagossian people. I've met with British Chagossians who've shared with me that they feel excluded from the negotiations on this agreement. I think you're probably aware of that. How would you respond to the concerns that the government didn't actually provide adequate opportunities for them to feed into the treaty negotiations?
So I think the first point is that this fundamentally was a negotiation between two states, between the UK and Mauritius.
Just thinking about the Chagossians community that are here in the UK, why does the treaty not include explicit guarantees for their right to return, particularly those who are either born in exile or descendants of the displaced population?
So we're very, very clear that what happened historically was wrong. I mean, it's reflected on the face of the treaty. But the islands were never self-governing. They were never having a permanent population, and therefore, they don't have a permanent population now, and they've never been self-governing. And there were a number of court cases previously on these matters. There were payments that were made in full and final settlement in the early 1980s. There have been a series of proceedings that have all ruled on this. On each occasion, the English courts and indeed the European Court of Human Rights has ultimately dismissed the claims. So that is the fact. I appreciate that there are a number of people who remain deeply dissatisfied with that. And obviously,
just to clarify, you think it's right that the British Chagossians have no right to return?
Well, the British Chagossians will have the ability to return under resettlement. Probably for the first time, most likely time that many of them would have had a chance, and crucially, an ability to visit with the visit.
Only if Mauritius allows them.
Mauritius will be responsible for resettlement on the outer islands.
We don't know if they will or not.
Ultimately, this is going to be for Mauritius to determine.
Just to be clear, that I'm right in understanding that essentially under the agreement, the resettlement agreement that we've got, it's possible that people of no kind of Chagossian descent or link to the islands could resettle, whilst at the same time, potentially British Chagossians could not.
So the previous government decided there'll be no resettlement of the islands back, I think it was in 2016.
This is a deal that this government has agreed.
This is a process and a discussion that's been going on for many, many, many years.
I understand that, but it's been signed under this government.
Yes,
so just trying to clarify whether you think it's right that British Chagossians potentially won't be able to resettle there, whereas people without any link to the islands.
With respect, you're speaking of